Hello and how you doing, and welcome back to Two Jagoffs. I am Austin Carnes, joined here with
Lucas Cans.
And welcome back to Two Jagoffs, and welcome to our Interview Sunday, where we bring on a special guest every single week. Lucas, this is your first time actually being on an interview, so I'm very excited to see how you ask some questions today. And I feel like the first guest that we're bringing on for your first interview is probably going to be the best one yet. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Managing Director of University Advising Center and Student Conduct. Also does a lot with the tutoring program here at Point Park.
Yes.
He's also my sports podcasting professor from last semester. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Angelo Gargaro. Angelo,
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's so good to see you.
I'm finally on Two Jagoffs.
You are. You're finally here. How's it going today?
It's going great. Sometimes, you are presented an opportunity that reminds you that you're right where you're supposed to be in life. You've made it in a way. And I would dare say that being a guest on this beautiful podcast means I've made it. I'm supposed to be here.
You know what this
Everything's
means,
happening.
right?
I'm going to hit that so many times.
Here, you're good. You're good. Do you know what this officially means, though, Angelo?
No.
This means that you're an honorary Jagoff for today.
Just for today?
The
The title kind of like sticks. Like you're kind of
You're kind of
you're in, you're in.
Yeah,
Once
once
you're a
you're a
Jagoff, you're always a
Exactly.
Jagoff. Yeah. Well, listen, as a Pittsburgh born and raised individual, I bleed black and gold. I will take the Jagoff name to heart. I will carry it with grace and with honor. And I am just so happy to have it.
I'm glad you are. I wish the other guests would understand more.
They just don't. But maybe after this episode, future guests can look and understand and appreciate and respect it as much as I do.
I hope so. We hope so. Well, Angelo, we're going to get right into the questions before we kind of dive into today's conversation. Let's get to know you a little bit. So you've been at Point Park for quite some time. Now, this is actually how both of us met.
Yeah.
What exactly brought you here?
Yeah, geez, it's a story for sure. But I'll give a quick recap. So I went to Kent State University for my undergrad in communication. I was an RA there for 2 years, and that experience really opened up my eyes to realize, like, hey, I got to work in higher ed. I got to be in a college atmosphere. I love the forward thinking and the progressive nature that universities instill, right? Like trying to change the world and follow and chase and be ahead of technology. I love that, right? Mm-hmm. So after Kent State, I struggled a little bit to get into higher ed. Not an easy industry to get into until you get the experience. So I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods for a little bit. I got my first job in higher ed at the art institutes, and I got laid off from there. They all were closed, so they don't even exist. So I got laid off from there, and that's what got me to Point Park, is after I got laid off from the art institutes, I started applying to different places, getting no bites, and somebody here at Point Park took a chance on me. I came in at part-time, actually. I was working 10 hours a week, $10 an hour, literally making nothing. I was losing money doing it, but I knew that this was going to be a place that if I just put in the work and worked my way up, that good things would happen. And, about 6 years later, that's kind of where we're at.
That's incredible. And we've seen so many different classes that you teach here at Point Park. I know you do a lot of the entry-level classes. Of course, you're doing the podcasting and sports podcasting class. I guess my next question for you is, what exactly brought you to that? I know you do a lot of podcasting outside on your own terms. You've done a lot with bands. Recently, you just started up College Unfiltered, which shout out to College Unfiltered, by the way, showing us some love on social media.
Yes.
I guess what exactly brought you into the podcasting sphere? Why exactly do you love podcasting so much?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I do like to talk about this. Growing up in middle school and high school, and all the way until today, one of my biggest hobbies and personality traits is my obsession of music. And I used to play in bands all the time, middle school, high school, in college. We played on Warped Tour once or twice. We did some little runs around the country, released some albums. And so music was always really big for me. As I was getting older, graduating college, the two bands that I was in at the time, we're all getting older. And some of these bandmates of mine would go and they're getting married and they're having kids. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? That ain't rock and roll, baby. What are we doing? And so we started having band practices, and we'd be at somebody's house and they'd be like, oh, we got to turn the amps down because the baby's sleeping upstairs. What? Are you kidding me? And so what ended up happening was these bands ended up dissolving because everybody grew up and became an adult, and I wasn't ready to. I still wanted to make music. really wanted to be in the music world. And I struggled to find people my age that were still wanting to make music and go and play shows and do all of that. And I really felt like I was like a part of me was missing, that I wasn't playing music, that I wasn't in a band, that I wasn't on a stage. And so I started thinking to myself, what can I do now if I'm not going to be in a band and I'm not going to be on the stage? How can I still be part of the music world and maybe in a different way and give back to it, because it's given so much to me. Yeah, I'm somebody that's always been a little bit of an outcast, both in my family and in my friend groups, and, piercings and mohawks and stuff. And, you used to get made fun of in high school and everything. But when I'd go to a show, like a rock show and stuff, I felt like I was around hundreds of people who were just like me and
Fit right in.
Exactly. And, it's cliche, but being in the music world like saved me so many times, getting me out of depression and getting me out of my little social anxiety bubble that I still struggle with these days. And so just literally out of nowhere, I was like, hey, if I can't play in a band, I'm going to start a music podcast, and I'm just going to interview my favorite bands, and I'm going to just kind of make a name for myself there and get press passes and go behind stage and learn more about the music world. And so my favorite podcasts were at the time fantasy football podcasts.
Ooh, okay.
And Fantasy Focus, back when Matthew Berry was on it and everything, was my favorite. And I based their format and their approach to podcasting was my complete inspiration when I started Spinning Thoughts, my music podcast. I also had and have a friend, his name's Rishi Ball, who some listening may or may not know. Look him up, though. Great guy here in Pittsburgh. He owns a company called 4Chord Music. They do, it's in its like 10th or 11th iteration 4Chord Music Festival. It's out in like Washington, Wild Things like Park or whatever it is. And it's always in the summer. It's coming up in a couple weeks. Anyways, Rishi was putting on this 4Chord Music Fest, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, I'm going to start a music podcast. I'd love to interview as many bands who are playing this fest as possible. And he hooked it up, and I interviewed like literally in 2 weeks, 20 bands.
Wow.
And that was like my first go at it. I had no clue what I was doing. I had no equipment, nothing. I just knew I loved music, and I knew how to talk to bands. And I got 20 interviews out of the way, and I thought it was just going to stop there. And it's like, okay. Yeah. It is what it is, and it just kept going and going, and it grew, and I ended up having, at one point, 25 people who worked for me at Spinning Thoughts, a couple in Canada, all scattered around the country. And that's essentially how I got into podcasting.
And you know what? I feel like we could relate pretty similar to that, because when we began to Jagoffs a couple years ago, it was literally in the corner of our bedroom. And then once we started getting guests on, they just started flooding in. And
Yep.
I mean, I feel like networking is key.
It is.
Putting yourself out there, introducing yourself, taking the shots. Like, even if you don't make the shots, at least take those shots. And you did that with Spinning Thoughts. We did that here at Jagoffs.
Yep.
I guess a follow-up question to that is, what was your favorite moment on Spinning Thoughts? Because I know Spinning Thoughts you talked about a lot in your class, and it was amazing seeing some of the stuff that you actually showed us and the rest of the students.
Yeah.
But was there a particular guest, moment, episode that stands out to you?
Yeah, so Spitting Thoughts, if anybody goes to try to find it right now, we've been on a hiatus for a little bit. It's not dead, but it's certainly not breathing right now.
It's on life support.
It's on life support. The goal is to bring it back. And I would love for anybody listening to go check it out, and maybe that'll give me some inspiration to really revive it. But my best experience, and there are so many, to be honest with you. Like, my favorite experience, one of them would probably be one of the last guests I had on my show before I kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus. His name's Andrew McMahon. He goes by, his musical moniker is Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. People my age in their 30s might know him better as Jack's Mannequin or something corporate. This is a guy who I've been listening to since I was like literally coming from middle school into high school. And he's pretty big. Like, he's not, for pop punk and all of that, he's one of the biggest names. And having him on was unbelievable to me. And it almost like, I didn't mean for it to be one of my last episodes, but it almost like subconsciously, I feel like I checked off like a really big bucket list with that. And I felt like that might be a good time to just step away for a little bit and kind of reflect and think about what I want to do. But I'll give a second part answer to this, because truly, besides like some of the amazing guests that I've had on. Big names, small names as well. And those are just as amazing because you're giving a spotlight to somebody who could use it. The best part about Spinning Thoughts was the community that I built. Having it, again, at one point, 25 people working for me. We usually hovered around 10 to 15. And just giving them work experience in the music industry. I've had a couple people who have worked for Spinning Thoughts that have gone off into the music world to work at labels or press teams. Like, to me, that's my proudest and most exciting moment is that, you know, this little itty bitty podcast that was created because I was jealous that I wasn't in a band anymore and wanted to be in the music scene. And I was copying a fantasy football podcast as my format. Flash forward 6 years later, and I have people working for me who are getting jobs, and I'm being a reference for them because of this music podcast. And so the community, by far, is the best thing about it.
Yeah, it's crazy that you structured your podcast off of something that has nothing to do with music. You took a sports podcast for inspiration for a music podcast. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's in Austin, as you'll probably, hopefully relate to from being in a podcasting class with me, that's the best way to go about it, right? Like, you just got to listen to different podcasts. You know, if you listen to a podcast about reality shows, but you want to do a podcast about sports, they're not that different. You know what I mean? Funny enough, my partner, Cindy, she's really into reality TV shows. She loves Love is Blind. She loves Love is Blind. Love Island is
Love
what's
Island,
on,
okay.
right? Love Island, okay? And that's, that's a crazy show if you don't know about it. I'm not going to waste time talking about it. But it's a show that, like, airs every day for, like, weeks at a time in the summer because it's showing almost in real time what's happening on this island. And so for podcasters in this space, they're eating great because every day they have something new that they can talk about. And Cindy said to me the other day, she was like, "Hey, I think I understand why you love, like, your fantasy football podcasts and stuff. Because, like, I'm watching a lot of these podcasts where they're talking about people who got voted off the island and these bombshells that are coming in. And I hear you watching these football podcasts about people getting traded and getting injured and, all this stuff." She's like, it feels like a reality show. Fantasy football's a reality show. And I was like, I wouldn't call it that, but, like, I could see the connection. So, like, the energy and the approach that they have doing a reality show podcast, why wouldn't it translate to sports? And,
I wouldn't.
Especially if you're doing it the right way, if you're engaging your audience, if you're creating a community, if you're honest, if you're a good listener and you ask good questions, you have interesting guests on, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. A lot of the techniques to have a solid podcast are pretty transferable.
I would totally agree with
I
you.
said that even works, like, with us at Two Jagoffs. Like, we are a sports podcast, but we kind of talk about a bunch of different things. Like, we're not strictly one thing. It's like you can podcast about anything. It's just you have to be able to talk about different topics if you want to branch off. But it's all the same concept at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And you guys have actually, have done a great job of really expanding your portfolio of guests lately. And I hope you continue to do it because, I mean, look, sports, it's a privilege to be able to have sports and to watch it. And it's a great escape and it's a great way to make money or have a career or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of things that influence sports. Politics influence sports. You see a lot of teams that jump into conversations about politics. We don't have to dive into it, but way back when with Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers, and all of that with
He's
the
met Colin Kaepernick.
What's that?
I got a
He's
picture
met
with
Colin
Colin
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
Really?
He came to my school. We had a big event and one of
How random.
Yeah, he was there because I guess he owns, like, an AI company now.
He does. Yeah. He's an interesting guy. And I, that's a whole conversation about what happened to him. But I mean, you could see, like, where sports will absorb things from the culture and from politics and all of that. And so I think that it only benefits to Jagoffs and other podcasts like this to not just be so narrow in what you're doing and who you're talking to.
I will say I only talked to him for about 30 seconds, but he was a pretty down-to-earth guy.
I bet he is. But hey, 30
For
seconds
the
is
30 seconds I got to
30
talk to him,
seconds is a lot for somebody like him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But definitely for, like, a bigger name out there. And what you said about the reaching out, I mean, I think Austin, because I haven't really done, like, the whole, like, interview side, obviously, since it's my first one, but, like, we started off because he was bored and he wanted to talk about sports in his bedroom, like he said.
Yeah.
And then we grew it. We got a studio, which we call it a studio. It's a private room that we have to ourselves
Yeah.
at his Nunny's house. And then we have also this studio, which is much nicer. I like it here better.
Yeah. It's nice there.
But the studio is pretty nice. It has a lot of sports stuff in it. And then we upgraded to bringing on a lot of new ideas and a lot of new like friend guests. Like we have his dad as a co-Jagoff. We have me. I got us into social media side of things because he actually started off just taking a picture of his computer screen.
It was bad, Angelo. It was bad.
Listen, if I showed you stuff from Spinning Thoughts early days, I mean, but that's part of like it's part of the journey. It's part of like what's awesome about content creation.
Yeah.
is seeing that growth and development. And I'm sure like you both probably can relate to this, and listeners out there can relate to this. Like, it's really cool to be an early like adopter or an early fan of something, right? In the music world, we see this a lot where small local bands, right, will have a small local following, and these individuals, these fans will latch on to them. And almost like to an extent, like not want them to grow because they want to be like, ooh, I found them, they're mine, you know? But there's so much like to like watching then this local band go from local to regional to national, and being able to say like, yes, I listened to them and went to a fire hall show and saw them in my local city, right? And so same like with Two Jagoffs and Spinning Thoughts, like, yeah, taking a screenshot of your computer to post on social media. Hey, the OGs who were there, they're probably loving what you're doing now, and those are the real ones. And I think it's great that you have that story and evolution.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much had to fall into line for it all to work out, because if his mom didn't work at my grandma's restaurant, which we had her, my mom and my grandma, and one other employee. So it's a 4-employee place. If his mom didn't get hired there and stay there for 11 years, right?
11 years.
If she didn't stay there for that long, I would have never known about the podcast, because I personally hated podcasts before I joined this one. I would never listen to them. My dad would have them on in the car. I'd put my headphones on. I'm not a podcast guy.
Yeah.
I actually listened to his and the other two that he's a part of, Inside the Ring and Steel City. Those are the only 3 I actually listen to currently.
Yeah.
Like constant. Like there's some like I might listen to like an episode or so of, but like consistently I only listen to 3 now.
Yeah.
And if his mom never mentioned it to me, like, because she quit pretty soon after she told me, actually. So she would have never told me. I would have never listened to it because I would have never thought to click on it. I would have never looked at the social media page. I would have never reached back out to him because we were pretty good friends for a while before he started it. But we just kind of, nothing happened. We just...
COVID kind of drifted us.
COVID kind of drifted. Like our lives just were going in different ways. But I found the podcast. I reached out a couple times telling him good. I gave him a couple reactions to some stuff that he said and like what my opinions were. And then I found the Instagram page after a while. Whenever he first started, because there was only 4 posts at the time. And I was like, dude, like, what are we doing right now? Like, you know, like I could edit stuff for you. Like I have so much free time on my hands. I'm a junior, I think, or even sophomore in high school. I don't remember what I was at the time. I think I was a sophomore in high school.
You were a sophomore, yeah.
I was a sophomore in high school. I had nothing better to do with my life besides edit posts for him. And I was like, I'm looking at doing this for a future. Like, let me send you some stuff that I can do real quick. So I sent him, I think, like 3 videos. I started. He was like, dude, like, these are awesome.
Yep.
Like, let's do this. So he gave me control of social medias. Not full control at first. He was a little
It can be hard.
Controlling, Angelo.
I can relate.
He was very controlling. At first, I was just kind of, I was like a social media intern at the time. That's the best way to describe it. And then I started doing more and more, and eventually he stopped asking me to send it to him first. And then he gave me like the password and everything to the Instagram. I was in.
That's big.
I was in at that point. He called me the social media manager and coordinator at that time.
Yep.
And then we grew even more to I brought on my own guest and I actually hosted an episode for the first time. And it was a this or that. I asked 30 questions. He had no clue what I was going to ask. My guest was the shyest person you could ever bring on. It's actually, I don't know if you know him, Mr. Jack Dean. We've mentioned him in podcasts before.
Who was it?
Mr. Jack Dean.
Wears a Sin Cara mask in the promos. The red and gold mask.
I can't think of it right
Been
now.
a couple episodes.
We'll show you a promo and you'll probably remember, right?
Yeah.
But I brought him on, and then we grew even more. We got the first 2 interviews, which were Devontae Dean and Caden Warner, and that's when we just blew up at that point.
And that interview with Warner like was excellent.
Thank you. I appreciate
that's what put us out there, really.
The Warner interview actually grew our audience significantly.
The Warner interview is the only reason we were able to get Hillgrove on right after, because we were able to show him an actual decent interview. Because I'm gonna be honest, shout out to Devontae Dean. That would not bring in a Hillgrove.
No.
It wasn't good enough. It was a rushed episode. How long was it?
Like 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Good. It was low quality, but we learned from that. And you called me and you're like, "What's your thoughts?" I'm like, "We gotta do something better than that to get us out there more." And then we started doing like promos. We did like skip promos and stuff like that. Obviously, I've done wrestling moves on him now.
Yeah, I can't believe that you're still able to walk.
I can't believe it either, Angelo. My back still hurts.
Yeah, you get the rough end of the stick for
I get
sure.
my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I get my ass kicked.
Well, I will say this. He actually has to get me mad at him because I was so on my first ever time beating him up, I was so scared to hit him.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an inside joke, but I do call him Mr. Glass but it's literally because of how fragile he is. He gets hurt so much. I was like, dude, like he wanted me to hit him with a chair. I've never hit someone with a chair before.
Neither have I.
Neither have I. He had to teach me how to hit someone with a chair because he knows wrestling.
Of course.
I got hit like 30 times before the actual.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. So I was already scared. And this is like a really behind the scenes thing right here. I was already scared to hit him. We had our friend Kevin filming, and he's like, Lucas, this is how you hit him. And he botched it. He gave him a purple and black mark on his back.
Really?
He hit him so wrong.
Kevin, come on, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, you jagoff.
Yeah, you're the wrong kind of jagoff.
Yeah, the bad jagoff.
Yeah.
Kevin completely screwed up the hit, so I was terrified to hit him after that point.
Yeah, I literally have to whisper like stuff in his ear. I'm like, yeah, you're a baby. I'm like, you're not gonna do anything about it. Like, I'll try to get under his skin. I'll say stuff. I'll just say like some of the most random stuff to get him mad, and it works.
Sometimes you got to find the motivation, right?
I've definitely grown a lot more. I actually put him through a table last time, so.
And I guess this is a good follow-up question for you then, Angelo. So talking about like all the stuff that we've been doing, and obviously you've been overseeing a lot of stuff at Point Park. You do the podcasting class. You probably see a lot of really good podcasts and not so great podcasts. I guess what is the one advice you would give to people who are just starting up a podcast? Because when I came into your class, I kind of already had an idea of where to go. I just kind of had to pick your brain on some stuff like the interviews, the YouTube channel, of course, the Pod Chaser really helped us. Appreciate.
Yeah.
But what is like the number one piece of advice you give to someone who's just starting or just wanting to get into this?
Well, if you are like at the point where you have not yet started the podcast, but you want to, this is a little cliche, but like it really, you got to do it. Like you just got to do it. I actually just talked to somebody who works here at Point Park, a staff member, who was talking to me, asking, "Hey, are you still doing podcasting stuff?" Because this person is interested in starting one, and they said that they've been thinking about it for like a year. And I was like, well, what's stopping you? And she was like, nothing. And I was like, then just do it. Mm-hmm. Just do it. I said, come up with a name. Like, have you come up with a name yet? No. Come up with one. Just come up with one and do it. And just start talking to people and start posting. I live by a motto called you got to get the first one out of the way. When I was playing in bands, so like I love talking to people. People misconstrue like social anxiety and like introvert kind of stuff because I'm an introvert and I have like some social anxiety. I love people and I love being in social settings, but my social battery has to be really charged for me to be effective like that.
So would you say like you're an extroverted introvert?
Yeah, essentially, yes. And
I think Austin can relate to that.
I can relate to that heavily.
And so it was this weird dichotomy and this double-edged sword playing in a band because I loved being on a stage and performing music that I wrote or had a part in writing, but I was deathly afraid of being on the stage at the exact same time. But I'm somebody that really believes that like exposure to things can help not eliminate, but mitigate anxiety. And so I kind of subconsciously used to do this until fans and bandmates would tell me when I'd go and play a show, I would be so freaking nervous on the first song. I'd mess up lyrics. I'd mess up guitar parts. I wouldn't be moving around. I'd be stiff. And at the end of the first song, I would always say, not directly into the mic, but like I'd be close enough that it would, like people would hear it. I'd always say, "Oh, thank God I got that first one out of the way." And after I got that first song out of the way, I went nuts, dude. Like I'm talking like guitar flips, jumping into the crowd, all kinds of stuff. And so I live by that motto that like once you get the first one out of the way of anything that you do, like Lucas, you're going to be going to Point Park here in a couple months, like a month and a half, 2 months, right? Might be a little nerve wracking to go to your very first college class, but you've been in a college class. Actually, you've been in mine. So you already got the first one.
Yeah, you invited me to your class on a phone call with him whenever we weren't even supposed to have a call at that time. I called him because I was bored.
Yeah.
And he was like, I know we mentioned all the time, you want to talk to Angelo? I'm like, of course I want to talk to Angelo.
Yeah. And so even coming into a college classroom and just experiencing it that first time, you've gotten the first one out of the way. And so you could go into the fall semester and there might still be some nerves, but it's like anytime you go and you do something for the first time, like you check it off in your brain. Yeah, I've done that. And one other example that I'll kind of give, I know I'm expanding a lot on this question, but I teach University 101 here at Point Park. It's University City Life. And this class is all about how helping students assimilate into college and into the Pittsburgh area and just showing them that we care and all the support areas. And so one of the things that I always do when I teach this class is I dedicate a day where we leave the classroom and we walk around the different support areas. One in particular is our counseling center. There's a lot of stigma still around mental health and people going and getting help. And I say this to my class and I give them this little story about me being on the stage and getting the first one out of the way. I make sure we walk into the counseling center. We don't go any further. We don't see anything confidential, right? I just walk past that threshold with the entire class and I look at them all and I say, okay, guys, at some point while you're here at Point Park, you may need a counselor to talk to, some help, some support. And a lot of times students won't go do it because they're nervous, they're afraid, there's a stigma. You guys have now been in the counseling center. You've gotten it out of the way. The first one's out of the way. You've been here now. So if you ever need to come back, it's not your first time. It's your second time or your third time. So to land the plane of your question, I think you've just got to get the first one out of the way and find the other piece of advice that I would give, like for somebody who's already started a podcast, because that advice is more for somebody who's like waiting to pull the trigger. Somebody who's doing it right now, my best advice for you would be whatever you did last time, do something different the next time. Doesn't mean you have to change it completely. You want to find the things that are working and hold on to that, but do something different. Even if it's the time of day that you post a promo, even if it is the kind of equipment that you use or things like that. Just do something different because you're always going to learn, you're always going to grow. And by tweaking something slightly, you might gain a new audience member. You might gain somebody who wants to be part of your community. So if you already have a podcast, whether it's 2 days in, 5 years in, my challenge to you would be go do something different the next time you do it and see what happens.
That's great advice.
I actually like that a lot because we have gone through and are still going through the promo timing that you talked about. We used to just not care when we posted something. It was posted whenever we posted.
Yep.
We posted it between, you could say 8 in the morning and 8 at night, just random times. Just whenever it got done, it got done. Now we're more consistent. We're playing with timings. We're still trying to find timings that work across all social medias. We found one that's really good for Instagram.
Yeah.
But
and they're all different.
It's not great for Facebook. It's not great for TikTok. It's okay for X, but we also have a friend that's actually really popular on X that is helping us out on that one.
Really?
Yeah, Nicholas Brown from Steel City Computers. That podcast.
Yeah. He actually
got 10K on that.
Yeah, he has like 10K.
Wow.
So we weren't doing good, and then he started reposting them, and then we got like 1,000 views on it because he reposted it.
Yeah.
But before that, it's not great on there. So we found a time that worked for one, but we're trying to find a time that works for all pretty much. And we're 3 years into two Jagoffs.
That's 3 years in August.
3 years in August, and we're still looking for that. So I actually really like that advice. Play around with stuff because
always
some people would think we're great because we've had so many people on that are notable names. We still are experimenting with stuff that you have to experiment with on day one.
And I want to add on to what you said as well about just getting it out of the way, because I feel like that is such good advice you could take into life. Because you were saying how you did that, take it up to the counseling center and giving advice for when starting a podcast or with your advising class. And I got to tell you, that is such good advice because that's someone who's also has anxiety sometimes and gets overwhelmed pretty easily, likes to be in social settings, but kind of likes to keep to myself.
Yeah.
If you just get that one out of the way, it's over with. And I feel that way when I call basketball games or football games all the time. It's I'll just get the one out of the way, get that first quarter done, and then after that quarter's over,
then you have fun.
It's routine.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it muscle memory comes in. That's when the fun starts to happen. Mm-hmm. And again, for me, I'll give this one other kind of comparison. So I would hope that the fellow Jagoff listeners out there, you should know what Kennywood is. If you don't, you're not a real Jagoff. Okay. I am such a real Jagoff that I have season passes to Kennywood. Okay. So
wow.
I'm that kind of Jagoff.
Big baller.
Big baller over here. I do not love roller coasters. I actually, if it were up to me, I wouldn't ride a roller coaster.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like them.
That's fair.
Have you rode the steel coaster?
Not the steel curtain one, but I'm going to.
It's really fun.
It looks great. All last year it was closed. I was just at Kennywood this past Saturday, which in podcasting time, this past Saturday could mean a lot of different things. I think it was June the 22nd, if anyone's keeping tabs on it. It was running then, but I didn't go on it. But for me, with roller coasters, I do ride them and I can, but I have to get the first one out of the way. So like funny enough, my favorite ride at Kennywood is the Exterminator. Oh. That's the indoor coaster for those who don't know. You spin around. Not the most aggressive one, but arguably it is pretty intense because you're spinning. It's in the dark. Sometimes you're going down hills backwards, but I love that ride. And so when I get to Kennywood, the first ride I go to, we bolt all the way to the other end of the park. Again, if you've been to Kennywood, you know what I'm talking about. It's all the way to the back.
It's in like the worst spot, yeah.
Exactly. And it has one of the longest lines always, right?
It's crazy lines. It's so hot once you get into like the actual main building part.
But I always rush to get on that one first because if I can ride the Exterminator, my adrenaline starts going. I'm like, oh, that was fun. I didn't die. Like, let's now go on the Thunderbolt. And then, okay, great. Let's go do the Steel Phantom or Phantom's Revenge or whatever it is.
Phantom's Revenge.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of related to that again, too, that like when you're exposed to something and you get that first one out of the way, then you're like, okay, it's not so scary. Now I can have fun doing it and live your life because it's way too short to not just go balls to the wall. You know?
I actually like that you brought up that because I'm kind of the same way with Kennywood. I was always scared of certain roller coasters. Like, I loved the Phantom's Revenge. I don't know why. And I always liked the Jackrabbit, I think.
Yeah, the Jackrabbit.
But whenever the Sky Coaster, Skyrocket, whenever that was built, I was terrified of it. I begged my dad to not make me go on that ride. And he like forced me to. But now it's like one of my favorite rides there.
I just went on that this past time that I was at Kennywood for the first time. It was awesome. I didn't realize that thing literally goes like 0 to 60 in like 0.2.
0 to 70, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
Good to know. Glad I didn't know that before going on.
That's why I was so scared of it because it launches you.
Dude, it launches you.
You go sideways to the point you don't even know you're going sideways.
Yeah. And then
you're sideways.
Once you get launched really fast, it takes you to the top of the hill and then it like inverts and you're like hanging there for a second. Yeah. But yeah, that's a banger.
Like, you like invert and then you go down.
Yeah.
Like you don't go down right away.
Yeah. So if you could just, with anything in life, if you can just get that first one out of the way, realize that some things aren't as scary as they seem and you can actually have fun pushing yourself a little bit. Not always, doesn't have to be far, but you can have fun pushing yourself out of your comfort zone.
That's great advice.
Now, I'm going to derail you a little bit here because...
What did I do?
Huh? Nothing.
Okay.
I'm just taking this a different direction for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, I know interviews are question-based, but we are a sports podcast.
Yeah.
And a little birdie brought a sports thing to my attention here. I hear that someone in this room, not to be named, has some beef with Sidney Crosby.
Oh, boy.
And it's not me or Austin.
Oh, boy. I do. I am the one that has a beef with Sidney Crosby. This is true. I feel like after this past spring of 25 and I talked about my grievances with Sid, I've come around a little bit more to him. I recognize that he's, I have no issues with him as a player or really as a person. I don't know him that well. I had a particular experience with him that I didn't love. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that experience?
This would be the first time that it is
really?
Going to be recorded somewhere where people can hear it, including Sid. And I bet you Sid's going to catch wind of this. I can give a little bit of what happened. So
okay.
Back, I mentioned earlier that I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods. So I guess this is going to come full circle here. When I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods, I worked at the Robinson location, which is like one of their like flagship stores. The headquarters of Dick's Sporting Goods is right out by the airport. Mm-hmm. And the flagship store would often do they would host Project Bundle Up with the Penguins. The Penguins would come in, they'd rope off different areas of the store so that fans could like come in and see but not like bother the players. The players would have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 kids who are underprivileged, don't have a lot of like winter clothing, jackets, warm socks, shoes, things like that. And the Penguins, I don't know all the details. I think a lot of them would pay even out of their own pocket to get these kids some winter essentials. And I worked on the footwear deck at the time. I do like the Penguins and I do like hockey, but my favorite sport by far, nothing comes even close to it, is football for me. And I have equal love for college and professional. But so like I'm not like starstruck by anybody on the Penguins, you know, like I would be able to talk to any one of them and it would mean really nothing to me. But if you were to let me talk to like our boy Aaron Rodgers, the savior of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Don't worry, we'll get to that in a little bit. We have a lot to say about that.
I might be a little nervous talking to him, but to like Sid and to other people like that, no, it didn't matter. So the store manager was like, all right, Angelo, look, you're not going to be like starstruck by these people. We need to be professional here. That's where they got me wrong with the professionalism thing. We'll get to that. They're like, we need to be professional here. We need somebody who's not going to like care that they're a Penguin and just help them help these kids. And I said, yeah, I'm your guy. So I was responsible for being on the footwear deck, and every player would come up with their kid that they were assigned to, and we'd help them get their essentials. And so Sydney's turn was there, and so I say, hi, I'm Angelo. He introduces himself, and then I meet the little girl. I have no clue what her name is these days. I hope she's doing great. And so Sid and I, we both get down on a knee and we grab one of those like foot sizers, shoe sizers.
Big metal thing.
Metal thing. Yeah. I don't even know if those exist anymore. It's so archaic. But, so Sid and I are down on one knee. Literally, I can feel him breathing on me. He probably feels me breathing on him. And we're putting, this girl's foot into this sizer. And I'm looking again. I'd like to believe I'm the shoe expert essentially here. This is my job. And so I go, oh, okay, you're a size 4. I don't know if that's what I said. We'll just go with that. You're a size 4. And so I grab a size 4 winter boot and I put it on the girl, and Sid and I are still on one knee. And, we're doing the whole, like, we're pushing down on it to see where the toe is, to see if there's some room. And so I'm like, hey, I think this one's good. We got a lot of room here. We want to make sure, because they're going to wear like thicker, warmer socks. So that takes up some space. And who knows the next time she's going to get a new pair of boots, because again, they're underprivileged, and, so let them grow into it. And Sid looks at me and he goes, no, this is too big. And I look at him and I press my thumb down again and I go, no, Sid, I'm telling you, we got to let them grow into this. I think this is the right one. He goes, nope, I'm the one buying this. We're going to go a size smaller. And I turned to Sydney and I said, Sydney, I don't tell you how to play hockey. Don't you tell me how to do my job. And I have like one of these little like headphones in my ear that the store gave me. And I guess people heard me like chirp back at Sid. And so like the store manager's like, Angelo, get off of the footwear deck now. I was like, what? And he pulls me to the side. He's like, did you just talk back to Sidney Crosby? I was like, yeah, he's being rude. He's trying to tell me I don't know what I'm doing. I don't tell him how to play hockey. And so I didn't take the gloves off. I didn't throw a punch. I wanted to.
You wanted to.
I wanted to. Now that's years ago, and I should have moved on from it. And I usually do until somebody brings up Sidney Crosby, and I'm like, oh, Sidney Crosby. But I will say to kind of end this little rant, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or expand on that if you need me to.
I think we got all we need.
Yeah, somewhat. This is what I told you is real, but my angst around it is somewhat of a bit, right? Like it's a funny story to tell.
Great story, actually.
Right.
That's a great story.
So yeah, I kind of play into it a little bit about, I don't like Sydney because he tried to tell me how to size a shoe for a girl. At the end of the day, I'm sure he's a great guy. He plays some damn good hockey, and now I have a story that he probably has no recollection of.
Probably not.
But I'll go to the grave with it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if I said this in your class or not. It sounds like an SNL sketch.
I know
it does.
You can't write this. I'm telling you, you just cannot write it. It was wild, and it'll go down in history as one of the weirdest interactions I've had with like a famous sports person ever.
Well, you talked about one famous sports person in that little rant that you went on, and by the name of Aaron Rodgers. And,
yeah.
Me and Lucas have been extensively covering that on the podcast.
Okay.
And I feel like before we give our opinions, I want to hear yours.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
I'm so happy
being the starting quarterback.
I'm so happy to go into this conversation because I actually, I have thoughts on this. They're probably the unpopular thought, though. I am all about Aaron Rodgers being a Steeler. Mm-hmm. All about it. Weird guy, does some questionable things, okay? Like, multiple things can be true at the same time. I feel like in 2025, people can't see that, like, different things can be true, right? And so, yeah, Aaron's a little goofy. He is a little arrogant and selfish, when it comes to, like, what he did, last year or whatever at the Jets training camp and not showing for OTAs or whatever the hell. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He will be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think it's badass that he's even kind of saying this is his last year. He signs a 1-year deal with the Steelers. I think it's sick. He's going to finish out his awesome career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're already quite the, historied organization. We've had some of the best players ever be a Steeler. Now, will Aaron Rodgers retire as a Steeler? Probably not. I mean, but I still think it's awesome that he is going to be one. I will be getting an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I will be wearing it all the time. Is he past his prime? Absolutely. Is he going to do what Tom Brady did? No. Are we going to be above 500? I think so. Do we make the playoffs and lose in the first round? Yeah, I think so. But I'm good with it. I'm excited. DK being a weapon for him. Look, everybody's talking about the Steelers right now because of Aaron Rodgers, and I think that that's cool. That's where I'm at with it. Every time I drive past Acrisure, too, I always say that this is the house of Aaron Rodgers, and I am so excited for him to be a Steeler.
I'm actually on your side here. I think that Aaron Rodgers coming to this team is pretty cool. I like that we have another player coming here that is one of the greatest quarterbacks probably of all time, the most athletic quarterback probably. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback, but he's probably the most athletic.
Fun to watch.
Athletically gifted quarterbacks, I'd say. And yeah, he is fun to watch. He like you said, he is very weird. He has some questionable choices, especially in off-season times. But during the season, you can't say that he's not talented. And he's gonna be paired up for kind of like the first time in his career, like a team that like he has nothing, like no one there really that he's been with besides his closest connection is probably Tomlin.
Yeah,
to be honest. I mean, everyone else on this team kind of is like new to him, so it's gonna be.
And new to us, too. A lot of them are new to us.
And I also don't think he's going to be able to basically become the owner like he did for the Jets. I don't think the Steelers are going to let him run like that. Like, we won't see coaches getting fired because of Rodgers here. So it's going to be interesting to see a Rodgers has to kind of tame himself. But I think he also brings a big, you're not going to walk in the locker room and give Rodgers attitude. I think that the players are going to have to kind of learn to be respectful, which I feel like isn't really happening in our locker rooms as of recently.
The last couple of years, it's been a little messy.
Yeah, especially
Juju and what's his name that we just traded?
George Pickens.
Thank you.
Actually canceled his kids' youth group that was sold out. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
I didn't.
Wow.
He gave word after he was traded that he was still going to come do it, and then canceled a day before it was supposed to happen.
Good for you, GP. Good guy, stand-up guy. But yeah, I mean, we have a veteran in Will Howard. We'll get to learn from him. I mean, do we want Mason Rudolph? Like, do we?
He does.
You do?
I don't want him over Rodgers. I said that he would still get us 9 wins.
Yeah, he might. And I mean, look, if there was no Rodgers, he would at least be probably starting at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I look, I don't know. I think like Russell we had last year, he's rounding, the end of his career. He did good. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to be talked about constantly this entire season. I'm excited to go and watch him play at Acrisure. I try to go like 2 or 3 times a year to some games. So I'm looking forward to it.
Your dad actually thinks we'll get 11 wins with Roger.
Which is crazy. I don't understand.
How many wins do you think we're going to get?
Lucky to get 9 or 10.
Really?
Lucky to get 9 or 10. You ready to know why I'm called a Jagoff, Angelo?
Please.
I am very critical of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
As you know, I'm not a Steelers fan.
Right.
So I'm pretty unbiased when it comes to them.
Yeah.
And I will say this about Aaron Rodgers. He is one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen up until Patrick Mahomes debuted. But when we take a look at his career overall, last season in Green Bay, Week 18 against the Detroit Lions, he failed.
Yeah.
He failed to beat them, which eliminated him from playoff contention. Then he goes over to the Jets, gets hurt 4 plays into the season. Next season has equivalent stats to Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson's final year to Aaron Rodgers' final year is pretty similar, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And now he comes over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if they would have signed him before the draft, which we had this discussion before we did our draft special, I would have been all for it. I would have been all in. But it's obvious that Aaron Rodgers was toying with this team. It's
of course.
that Aaron Rodgers was messing with the Steelers management, the Steelers organization.
Yeah.
And the fact that it took so long to get this deal done, we saw every quarterback under the sun get signed, traded, and made official on their new teams. It just shows that Aaron Rodgers is the one with control here.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's not forget, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 0 for 5 with quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger retired.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kenny Pickett experiment failed. Mitch Trubisky failed.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph failed. Russell Wilson, unfortunately, failed. Didn't bring him back. Justin Fields, they didn't sign him in time. I believe he would have been a great option.
I love
They let him
Justin
go.
Fields, yeah.
So I don't understand exactly the whole Aaron Rodgers saga. If he's only going to be here for a year, let's be honest, they're not going to win the division. The Ravens are better. The Bengals are better. Honestly, the Browns, in terms of the next 5 years, you could argue they have a better squad.
They've got great players. Yeah.
Lots of great players. So when I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers from an overall general perspective, yeah, sure, you're going to get 9 to 10 wins. You're going to get to the playoffs. You're going to be first-round exits. But when is enough enough? When are you going to finally just have that season where you either make it or break it, build for the future or chase the championship? Stop settling for first-round exits and first-round playoff appearances.
I agree with that, and that's one of the biggest criticisms I think most people would have with the Steelers is that, we always get into the playoffs, lose first round, then we screw up our draft positioning, and we can never actually get somebody of quality, and the cycle repeats and continues. And that's likely going to happen again this year. But I stand firm that I think Aaron Rodgers will get us into the playoffs. I really do. I believe he will. I feel like we're going to be way more competitive with him than without him, and I'm just excited to watch the can I say shit show? I'm ready to watch the shit show. Yeah, I'm ready to watch it.
I do agree with you that the Bengals obviously have the much better offense. Honestly, I think they have a better offense than the Ravens even at times, but the Bengals have such a poor defense that I can see the Steelers still having a better record. Because people are even joking around that they're never even going to sign their first-round pick. They're probably not signing Hendrickson. He's probably sitting out this season. Mm-hmm. If they can't stop other offenses, yeah, they might score 30, 40 points a game, but they're also going to be getting scored on 40, 50 points a game. So honestly, the Bengals they run over our offense like it's nothing. But their defense is so poor quality compared to us that has a iffy offense and a great defense. We still might both the better record by 1 to 2 wins.
Let's not forget this too, Lucas. This is a completely different offense that Rodgers is going to be working with compared to Wilson. They don't have Najee Harris anymore. Pickens is gone. And outside of DK Metcalf, they have a relatively thin wide receiver room. And outside of playing on the play action pass, what can the Steelers really run on offense? Are they going to continue to do the drop downs? Are they going to continue to swing it to the outside? Let's be honest. This Steelers playbook is so easy to figure out.
That's fair.
Scoring difference between the Steelers and the rest of their division rivals is not even comparable. The Steelers struggle to put up 20 points a game. You look at the Bengals and Ravens, it's almost 30, 35 every single week, and there's a reason for that. They have an explosive offense. If this was Rodgers maybe 10 years ago, we would be talking a different story, but Aaron Rodgers with DK Metcalf, that's all he really has. The Steelers have not found a way to use Freiermuth. The run game is obsolete. The rest of the wide receiver room is unproven. There's a lot of question marks with the Steelers. There's more guarantee with the Bengals.
You know what the Steelers do have?
Who?
Chris Boswell.
Do they though?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this then.
Yes.
Do you think that because I think let me ask you this first. This easy yes or no question. Do you think this is likely Aaron Rodgers' last year playing football?
Yes.
All right. So I agree as well. Do you think that that brings anything like an untangible kind of quality, urgency, and level of play? He's going to leave it all. He's going to have fun this year, and he's going to leave it out on the field. Do you think that's it's an untangible thing, right? I get that he's past his prime. He's in, what is he, 42 or something now? But do you think that could add something that you just can't predict? Somebody who has nothing to lose and is rounding out their career. What do you think about that?
I would say that, but here's the thing. He has nothing to work with. You look at the offensive line that's protecting him as well. 4 out of the 5 starters have only been in the league for less than 3 years. That's kind of crazy if you really think about it. Rodgers doesn't really have the experienced players. He's the veteran that everybody is learning from. So if Aaron Rodgers can gel well with this team throughout training camp, throughout OTAs, then yeah, I don't see why Rodgers wouldn't be able to put on a spectacular performance. But just from what I've seen with the Jets and what I saw in that final game and that final week with Green Bay, I just don't see it happening.
I will say that I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot of opponents to settle some final beefs with for our schedule.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think he is going to ball out on a good couple games.
I was actually thinking about my partner Cindy, who I've mentioned already on this podcast, is from New York City, and her family are sadly Jets fans. And
I feel bad for them.
I feel bad for them too. We were thinking about trying to get tickets to the game there, and seeing the Aaron Rodgers payback tour start off with the New York Jets.
Tour. That's a great way to name the season for the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers payback tour with Rodgers.
Yeah.
The revenge season.
Special host Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Angelo, I want to kind of go into some of the more fun questions now on the podcast as we wrap things up within the last.
I think we should start off with a little debate that we've been having recently.
Ooh.
Okay, go ahead.
Debate.
The debate.
Is it normal to go to bed at 4 to 5 in the morning?
It's a big debate we've been having recently.
It is.
Is it normal? What is normal, I guess? To me, normal, it could either be looked at comparatively to the masses or comparatively to somebody's specific habits. If you are somebody that goes to bed at 4 or 5 all the time, then I'd say that's pretty normal. To the masses, maybe that's not so normal. But then you got to think there's doctors and there are people who are working, construction overnight that are working and then go to bed at 4 or 5 in the morning, things like that. I'm somebody that likes to say this. I do not like to fall asleep on the same day that I woke up. So what that basically means is I like to go to bed after midnight and maximize as many of the hours in a day. So a lot of people might say that's not normal. So no, I'd say if you consistently go to bed at 4 or 5, then yeah, I think that's normal.
Which one of us do you think is the 4 a.m. sleeper?
Oh, that's a good question. Initially, I want to say you because I know how much you hustle and everything that you're doing, but I also feel like you can only do that because you probably get a good 8.
Nope.
No.
Well, it's not me. It is him. But I get about I'm lucky to get 5 hours sleep every night.
Yeah, I try 5, 6 hours is what I try to get.
Yeah, I usually go to bed around when he's waking up.
Yeah, I'm looking at my watch right now. I got 4 hours and 32 minutes last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're at that age, Lucas, where you can do that.
I've been going to bed around 4 or 5, and I try to wake up around 10 or so.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's because sometimes I'm going to bed and I say a good morning message to him and actually Nicholas Brown, who we have a group chat together. I usually say good morning and then I go to bed.
Well, that also brings up another
They're
debate.
waking up for an internship for Nick and his job, and I'm going to bed. So
that also though brings up another debate that I've had with people because I get it's not a major pet peeve, but whenever people after midnight will say good night. I'm like, it's not night anymore. It's morning. Say good morning. But you still people we debate, me and my friends will debate is it a new day whenever it turns midnight or whenever you go to sleep, right? So if you're going to bed at 4 or 5, right? Let's say, so today we're recording this and you don't go to bed until 4 or 5 tomorrow. Technically your day doesn't end until then. So I would, I don't know. I feel
like I still say good morning usually. I don't really say good night. Like sometimes they'll say good night as a joke because they know that means I'm going to bed. But I feel like I'd say good morning to someone because it's the next day.
I don't know.
Even though it's not for you, for in general, as the world works, it's the next day. The world has rotated.
I'm more one of those people when the sun's up, it's morning. When the sun's down, it's night. So if it's getting to 4 or 5 a.m., I might, if I am up that late, I would probably say good morning. But if it's 1 or 2 a.m., it's still dark outside. It's still night to me.
1 or 2, I might say good night, just not even thinking about. But by the time I go to bed, it's it's good morning.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, usually we like to ask our guest onto Jagoffs a very special question. I usually ask it on behalf of Lucas, but he's actually present for once for an interview. So how about you finally ask it yourself, Lucas?
All right. So, what is your go-to restaurant in Pittsburgh, or just around here in general?
We're foodies on the podcast.
Yeah. This is a great question. So recently, I cannot get. I'm a pizza guy. All right. So this is going to be a pizza answer.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys that has the One Bite app, and I'm looking to see what Dave Portnoy rates, pizza at, and I go and try them. When I go back to New York City with Cindy, yeah, I'm telling you, I'll spend an entire day. I'll map out 5, 6 different pizza locations, and I'll rate them and do all that. So my favorite place that I've been going to nonstop here is Ironborn Pizza in the Strip District. Have either of you guys had it?
I've heard of it, and I think I've been past it. I've never actually stopped.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Ironborn Pizza in the Strip. They also have one in Millvale. Anybody listening to this should go.
I think that's the one I passed was actually in Millvale because I was at a wrestling event recently there.
It's incredible.
It's right in the heart, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Detroit-style pizza, which I love it. Nice little restaurant. I've only eaten in the Strip District one. I've ordered online from Millvale. Love it. And then Beto's also is something. I've just went to that like a week ago. I can't get enough of it. You get a couple cuts. I know a lot of people don't like it whenever you call pizza slices cuts, but there they call it cuts, and everywhere else it's a slice. You go get a couple cuts, and it's like $10. You're getting loaded up on this awesome pizza that you just can't find really anywhere. It's so Pittsburgh. I love it.
It is such a Pittsburgh word. Do you call it Beto's or Betos? Because I know a lot of people say
I don't
Betos.
know how you actually say it.
I hear both. So like I just kind of go with whoever.
I
says
gotta ask a question now. Do you call it Sprinkles or Jimmy's?
Jimmy's, dude. I'm a
Gotta be
Jagoff, man. Come on, this is
Jimmy.
I
Pittsburgh.
had to make sure.
Yeah, it's a buggy at a superstore.
some
It's a
people-
gum band, not a rubber band, okay?
It's slippy outside.
Yeah, exactly. And then whenever
Pop or
people are
soda?
coming over, we're readying up. Come on, man.
Pop or soda?
Well, so I don't drink that, but I would call
you're
it
right
pop.
over there?
I'm okay. I'm trying to get this damn microphone back to where it was. We're
It's
just holding it. This
I think I actually call it both. I call it pop and soda. It just depends what comes out, honestly.
when I was at Kent State in Ohio for my undergrad, I would refer to it as pop, and these are Cleveland people, so you have to. IQ is a little bit
Yeah, it's
lower,
a
you know what I
little-
mean?
it's a
So it's like they couldn't wrap their mind around it a little bit. So they always would give me hell for both the Steelers and for me saying pop. And they also couldn't wrap their mind around whenever I would call something a hoagie. All right?
What do they call it?
Subs. Well, and listen to this. So I used to mess with my Ohio friends because they would just make fun of my Pittsburghese language.
Burgies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would call, a sub a hoagie because that's what it's called. And they were like, I've never heard of that before. I was like, guys, are you serious? Like, you know how you have Subways here in Ohio? I was like, we have Hoagie Ways in Pennsylvania, which of course we do not, right? But I had friends who legitimately believed that if you're in Pennsylvania, you can't go to Subway because it's called Hoagie Way.
called Hoagie Way.
Yeah. It was always so easy to get one over on these Cleveland fans. I'll tell you, super
I will
easy.
say the only place I've been to worse than Cleveland is actually Baltimore.
Yeah,
Baltimore
Baltimore
people are just toxic, actually.
yeah.
I went there as a kid. I think I was honest. I don't even think I was 10 years old yet. I think I was like 9 or 8, and I was wearing a Steelers hoodie. People were flipping me off.
Oh, they're so rude.
I was 8 years old, guys.
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah. They have a nice aquarium, though, there, I think.
My dad likes the train museum there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I know I've gone off the rails slightly, but yes, the answer to your question about a place that I go to for food right now would be Ironborn or Beto's, whatever the hell it's called.
Whatever, yeah.
And my favorite kind of food besides pizza is Indian food. And so different Indian restaurants would also be where you'd find me around the city.
Now, usually when we end off these episodes, we like to play a little bit of a game show. And I mean, you've been listening to a couple episodes in the past, so you've probably seen some of the game shows that we do. And I'm going to kind of let Lucas do like an impromptu Lucas Carries here for a
This is
second.
going to be Lucas Carey's episode 4.5.
I guess 4.5 if you want to be specific.
Yeah.
So Lucas is going to take over, and he's going to quiz both of us, Angelo.
Oh.
He's going to ask us some questions. And I think what is it, this or that you have
I
prepared
have
for
2
us?
this or that's.
So you'd either choose this or that. Pretty
Easy,
simple. and then we can go
enough.
back and forth
Let's
on it.
do it.
All right, well, since Austin kind of did this last second, I got to pull up the pictures here.
While I pull up
He's
those pictures, let me just ask you a question, Angelo. Have you ever listened to any of the game shows or any of the specials or that we've done here?
I likely have. I can't remember the most recent one.
Have you ever heard the color segments?
No,
Oh boy.
I don't believe so.
Okay, well this is
You're in for a treat.
This is basically where I started this. I asked about colors. I personally research and spend my free time looking up the funniest sounding, weirdest sounding, craziest sounding colors that are actually real. Like you can find them in like colors. I don't know why I said that. You can find like color. I don't even know what it's called.
Little palettes.
Palettes, yeah. So every color I give you is actually real. Like you could go
Great.
technically buy this.
Oh man.
You can paint
but
your bathroom in if you want.
yeah, you could paint your bathroom now. Although I don't think Austin would support you if you did this first one here.
Okay.
So Austin, you don't need to see the color obviously, but we actually have hay bale yellow.
Oh, good lord.
It's nice.
Why?
So that's the color. That's the
Out
first
of no, hold on, time out. Well, out of all the colors you chose, you had to bring that one back.
Yes, I had to bring it back for Angela's first time.
Yeah.
So
ahead,
Austin, the first time I ever showed this color, Austin actually spent, I think it was like 8 minutes or so, talking about how terrible this color was.
What's it called? Hay
Bale yellow.
bale yellow.
Yes. Now the second color, this is a new one for everyone, including myself. Austin, this is what I was absolutely dying hysterically at. This is called Fuzzy Wuzzy Brown.
Shut up.
That's not brown.
It's not even brown.
That's not.
That's what I said.
That's not even brown.
This is Fuzzy Wuzzy Brown.
And that's legitimately what it's called.
You can find this on color palettes.
Oh my god.
That upsets me.
That upsets me too.
Yeah,
Angelo.
I'm getting upset right
Both of
now.
them.
So it's this or that. So you have to choose which color you like better. And I can go back to it if you need to see the first.
No, I honestly, that hay bale yellow I really do like, to be honest with you.
Why?
Well,
I hate you for that.
Well, first of all, Fuzzy Wuzzy, you're not going to catch me saying that one more time on this show or in life, okay? You will never hear me say it again.
Just like you'll never say college unfiltered in your classes again after that editing day we had.
That haunts
College
me.
unfiltered.
That haunts me. But that's also not even brown. Like in the name, it says, and I'll say it again, even though I said I wasn't going to. Fuzzy Wuzzy Brown. It's not even brown. This is brown.
That's brown.
Okay, that's brown, and it ain't Fuzzy Wuzzy either. So no, hay bale yellow. I also like that it's a little bit of like a muted color. Gives me a fall vibe. I'm a fall guy. Autumn is where it's at.
Autumn is where it's at. It's the best temperature. I will agree with you on that.
Yep.
Awesome.
This is the first time I'll ever say Hail Bell Yellow is actually better because I hate that color. It literally looks like dog piss, Angelo. It looks awful.
It does. It does.
We
But
need to go back. We need to clip like the 8-minute rant, and you need to send it to Angelo so you can hear how
It's bad. I
he
actually
was
flipped out.
genuinely mad. He flipped out over.
I mean,
the color.
honestly, Austin, the color shirt you have on,
Oh,
Lucas, I don't know about
no.
you. Doesn't it kind of look like hay bale yellow? Can we hold on? Let's put it up real quick.
Oh my God!
Right?
It's close.
Great, I'm wearing Hay
Can
Bell
we
Yellow.
make sure we zoom in on this so that people will be able to see it? Austin is wearing hay bale yellow today.
This is blasphemous. Hay Bell Yellow, Lucas. That's my first answer.
I can't believe you actually went with it.
I can't believe
you've
it
never
either.
went with Hay Bale Yellow whenever I've like
Well,
asked you
that
about
wasn't
it.
even brown. If it was just like Fuzzy Wuzzy, maybe, but like it's just brown.
If it was like a bear's like
Yeah.
fur, would you consider that Fuzzy Wuzzy brown?
No.
Then what's Fuzzy Wuzzy? You said if it was Fuzzy Wuzzy, what do you consider to be fuzzy and wuzzy?
I don't even know. Angelo, help me here, please.
Here's what I know. I am going to find whatever entity that thinks it owns the naming of these colors. And the last thing I do before I move to a different plane of existence, whether that's soon or later, will be to lobby for that name to change and ideally for that color to be obliterated. I would love for that to go away.
I fully endorse that,
Yes.
Angelo. I fully endorse it.
Okay, no, I actually have 4. I don't know why I said 2 earlier. I have 2 colors and 2 like actual ones for you.
Okay.
We've pretty much asked this to like most of our guests that have like come on, not necessarily like the interview guests, but like most of the actual guests that, like recur. We asked this, and I figured you're more than just a guest because we both know you personally. 2 Jagoffs or the Austin Carnes radio show. Come on, we've asked this like everyone.
Just as a heads up, Angelo, I did not help him prepare any of these. These are all first to me as well.
Yeah.
So these are genuine reactions.
I know you've been asked this like 50 times, but I like to have the guest answer it too.
I mean, look, this shouldn't be a surprise. I think 2 Jagoffs is where I would go. I think that I'm a podcast guy, so I'm going to like the podcast nature of things. I like how podcasts and how you guys do your podcast, you incorporate video and promos and all this, the community. And you're doing the same thing with the radio show, but equally great endeavors. But yeah, 2 Jagoffs. Love the branding of it.
Yep.
It's going places, so I'm team 2 Jagoffs.
Team 2 Jagoffs all the way, Lucas. Come on.
Yeah, it's got to be 2 Jagoffs. Now, we are going back to our colors over here.
Oh, good Lord.
Now, Austin, you actually said before that you liked one of these colors, so I brought it back. First of all, we have Jazzberry Jam.
These names. Jazzberry.
Austin actually said that he's okay with this color.
This sounds like a Willy Wonka thing, like the Jazzberry Jamberry.
The Jazzberry Jam. I don't mind it.
Yeah, you actually, I'm pretty sure you actually picked this one before.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Now
I'll probably pick it again.
this next one, I don't even know how this came up. It's actually like to do something with actually PPG Pittsburgh Paints, so
Okay.
it's interesting. Calapsio Berry.
What?
Calypso.
It looks like
Calypso?
Fuzzy Wuzzy Brown again.
It does look like that a little bit.
It's different shades.
It's pissing me off. I'm going Jazzberry Jam. That one's getting on my nerves.
Yeah. How do you say it, Lucas, again?
He actually said better than me.
Calypso.
Calypso.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jazzberry Jam for the whole
Jazzberry
way.
Jam. So I think Jazzberry Jam might be your favorite color.
It probably
I've
is.
brought
It's a
up.
nice color.
It is a nice color. The
Although,
name is
I'd wear it.
okay, but the color I actually do like the color. I'm a purple guy, and that's in the sphere of purple. It seems a little bit.
There actually is 2 colors I can think of that Austin actually did like better. One of them being mac and cheese yellow.
That's a classic.
That was his favorite color I've ever asked about.
Well, Angelo, you never had like the 128 pack of crayons with a little pencil sharpener in the back? That mac and cheese was actually one of the crayons in there.
Like, really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I actually forgot about the scar till just now. I would have asked it. This is actually
The box with the sharpener.
Yeah.
I remember those.
this is actually Austin's second favorite color of all time. It's actually Tickle Me Pink.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's fine. Do you really like that?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's
That
fine.
is actually the only other color that Austin said is one of his like favorite colors I've brought on.
Well, you should have
podcast.
saw some of these other colors that he's given me. Like they're like the one time we don't have to go back to it, but there was like 4 different greens he gave me, and it was like all the same shade of green but with different names.
They're all different shades of green. Don't even do that.
You know, and a running joke in my family that also gets on my nerves is that my mom will tell me that I'm colorblind. I'm not colorblind. I don't know why she thinks that. And I've taken like colorblind tests to prove to her and others that I'm not colorblind. So this should be yet more proof in Angelo's arsenal that I'm not colorblind. I could see those colors. I know that fuzzy wuzzy, whatever the hell, is terrible. And hey, Bale, yellow will be the vibe. It is what Austin's wearing right now. Love it.
Now, my next question, I can also change it based on this response right here. Do you know anything about like wrestling? Like, do you watch any wrestling? Like more like WWE?
Professional wrestling, like the stuff that's on TV. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I used to. I wouldn't say that I've watched it recently, but growing up, I was a big Sting fan. I loved Sting.
Okay, so I think we can work with this then. Would you rather be a heel or a face?
Do you know what those terms even mean?
A heel or a face?
So like, let's
heel
put
is
this in super.
heel is
villain.
kind of like the people that like you like kind of like boo, kind of like
It's the
usually,
bad guy.
They cheat to win. You don't really want them to win, but like
Give me like, because I'm in a different generation than you guys. So the wrestlers that I can refer to, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Sting, Undertaker, Mick Foley, like
Undertaker would be your face.
Okay.
Someone you would cheer for, like the Hulk Hogan, like that was someone that growing up like everybody loved, and then like a Ric Flair is like someone everyone hated, like
Okay.
Shawn Michaels everyone hated at one point.
If I'm gonna be a wrestler, I'd want to be the heel, the one that people hate.
Heel.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd love to be that. If I'm going to be a wrestler. Now, in life, do I want to be hated? No, not so much. But if I'm going to be a wrestler,
Yeah, it's
yeah, I
more
want to be
like-
the one that's disrupting. I would feed so well off of the negativity. I am somebody that loves to do things in spite of like being told that I can't do it. So yeah, I would definitely embody that.
do you think you would be able to get some good crowd reactions and stuff? Because I mean, I've told you this before. I do camera for like a lot of different wrestling events, and the heels are the ones that can really work well with the crowd. Like they're the best ones.
Yeah, I think that I would really be able to feed into that. Like I
Okay.
really think that I'm a middle child too, so I love being a little
Oh, yeah.
defiant.
A lot of
and-
aggression you can take out.
Yeah. So I think that I would really like. I think that after I got the first one out of the way, you know what I mean? After I got the first wrestling move out of the way, I think I'd be able to really embody the ham nature of like getting the camera and the crowd worked. Yeah, I think I could do it.
Of course. Well, Angela, I just got to tell you, I really appreciate you coming on this podcast. It means the absolute world. Before we wrap things up, though, just to kind of reflect on everything, I just want to say thank you so much for all the advice that you have given me throughout your class. Two Jagoffs was already pretty established coming into your class.
Very.
I got to tell you, if it wasn't for some of the advice you gave me, pushed me in the right direction, I don't think any of those interviews would be possible. This episode wouldn't be possible. A lot of the episodes Lucas helped come up with wouldn't be possible. The promos. So I just really want to take this moment just to thank you and extend our thanks because it really means the world to us.
I really appreciate you saying that. That's cool of you to say. And I know you mean it, but I also know that you know that, like, with or without me, you know exactly what you need to do. You know how to do it. You've got the right personality, the right drive, the right hustle. You have incorporated Lucas and brought him in, and delegating to him. Like I could feel like I know how tough that can be to give the keys to the car over to some people, especially in podcasting and content creation. So look, I mean, if I could be given any kind of kudos for any success that you guys have, I don't think it's deserved on my end, but I will gladly take it. I think you guys honestly kill it. I'm so impressed with what you've done. I've taught the podcasting class for a couple of years, and obviously I respect all of the podcasts that have come through, but obviously, I mean, Two Jagoffs came in well established. You ask the right questions, and you are relentless, my friend. Like, you just go for everything. As somebody who really cares about people and specifically, students at Point Park and wanting them to achieve what they want to achieve, I wish that your peers would take a page out of your book. I wish they would. Like, if I could use you as an example to other students, I absolutely would, because you have the right mentality and hustle and professionalism. So you both should be very, very proud of what you're doing, and it's an honor to be on the show.
Thank you, Noah, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the kind words. And I got to tell you, being able to grow this podcast and bring on so many different guests and do all these promos and reaching out and networking, like a lot of that is advice you've given and advice that I've learned just from being here at Point Park University. And I got to tell you, I used to be the introvert in the classroom. I used to be the shy kid, didn't really talk to anybody, but had like a very small friend group. It was literally him who went to a different district and my buddy Kevin. That was really about it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you know, to kind of like full circle this one more time as well, like you and I can then probably relate being a little bit introverted, some anxieties there.
Yeah.
Like you and me doing things like this is what keeps us out of our shell. It's what keeps us going forward and accomplishing things. And that's why I would challenge all of you out there, whether it's starting a podcast or starting, a brand or a company or applying for a job or going to school or whatever it may be, like, you've got to put yourself out there, and the more that you put yourself out there, the easier. It doesn't eliminate things, but the easier it is to do the things that you want to do and that you love to do. And I always told people this on Spinning Thoughts, that if it wasn't for Spinning Thoughts, I probably would have nobody in my life. I would be an isolated individual. But that show, and like really in years where I was really growing in my 20s and stuff like that, that show gave me purpose. It gave me a voice. It gave me confidence. So go seek out those opportunities like you guys have done, and you'll be unstoppable.
That's great advice. We really appreciate that, Angela. Now, this officially marks our 17th interview that we've done on Two Jagoffs. You're
Nice.
Number 17. And I guess just as a final reflection and like recap on this, I know if you listened to a couple of interviews, excluding this one, because I know you've been on this one, what was your favorite? Just out of curiosity. I like just some feedback.
Yeah. I want to say, I mean, Kyle Archer is just somebody who I think is relentlessly funny. Andrew
Palace.
Yeah. I mean, you introducing me, not that I've met him, but you introducing me to who he is and seeing that episode in the promos, like really kind of like piqued my interest again, like into wrestling. Like I'm really curious about like some of this, like, and I don't know all the right language, but like the smaller scale, like I know it's not,
Indie circuit. Yep.
Thank you. So that's excellent. I'm proud of you for the Hillgrove one. I think that's awesome. But I guess my answer to your question would be, is it Caden? Caden Warner is how you say his first name? Because I remember you actually like coming to me, and this was like really at the beginning of the semester, and saying like, dude, like I think that this was like one of my best interviews. Our engagement was awesome. And you could also tell that Caden was so grateful for being on your show. And I think that just like really embodies like what I was trying to teach y'all in class, is like, especially while you're on a college campus, you've got these people like a Caden Warner who is doing great things for Point Park and will likely do great things outside of Point Park. Like, why not create that network? And I was really proud of you for that one. I think that it landed so well. So yeah, those would be some of my favorites right now.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Lucas. Did you have any final questions or words you'd like to ask Angela before we
No, it was great having you on. Our meeting was kind of joked around at first, and then we actually met in your classroom. We had a fun day where I was actually kind of bored waiting around because I already knew everything.
You finished everything like 20 minutes before everybody else, college students.
I already started editing the video, and people were still asking you how to get the video imported in. But it's kind of, that was actually kind of funny. I don't think we've ever told that story, but like it's kind of funny. Like that class is a college class, and the stuff I was doing in high school was like, that's like the bottom level high school class for me. But
well, and that's why, like, and I said this in the class to everybody, like, you've got to always be honing in on your craft. And that's also kind of why, like, I gave the advice earlier about, like, if you're doing a podcast, and this applies to other things in life, whatever you've done the last time, do something a little bit different this time, because there's going to be younger individuals who are coming up through the pipeline who are getting just more technology and more information, more access to things, and they're going to be ahead of you if you don't keep hustling and working. There's not a lot of things in life that are equal. All right. A lot of people are at disadvantages. Equity's not given. It should be, but it's not. But there is one thing that we all have, and every one of you listening have: 24 hours in a day. You don't get 25, you don't get 23, we all get 24. And that's kind of why, like I say, I don't like to fall asleep on the same day that I woke up, because I want to do as much as I can in the 24 hours that we're all given. So hustle, put yourself out there, maximize your time, and you will achieve your goals.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's even something I can relate to Austin, because remember we were in that class together and we were editing the same video, and I think he was having trouble with like the audio syncing up or something. He did something. I was like, why are you doing that? Like, you can do it so much easier. And it's like, he didn't know that. And it's like, I've been doing that since the first level class, and I just completed the honors third level class of it in my high school. So I like that you said like you always have to be like working on your craft, because even though you think you're good, there's always
Always levels for improvement.
yeah, there's always ways to improve
Absolutely.
it because the more that you teach it in the lower levels, the teachers learn more. They learn better ways to teach the students. The students have more access to stuff as stuff gets researched and funded. So yeah, like people in my school 10 years ago didn't have the same way as I can do stuff now. So
Absolutely.
It's incredible, and I love all the advice that you've given us, and I love all the advice you left with the audience. Where can the listeners of Two Jagoffs find you at on your platforms? We talked about spinning thoughts at College Unfiltered. Where's the best place for them to go find good old Angelo Gargaro?
Yeah, if you want some throwback stuff, at Spin Thoughts on all social media. I'm really proud of the work that I did there. It might not be active in the moment, but I really have a vision for it here in the future. So you could check us out at Spin Thoughts. This fall, we will be starting to launch the brand new podcast, College Unfiltered. And you can check out all of our socials at College Unfiltered Pod. We've got social media and we're doing social media, but the first like full length episodes will be dropping this fall.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait to give our
I'll have to get back on my commenting streak.
Yes. Yeah. You hyped me up on there, man. I appreciate it.
Number one fan over there of College Unfiltered.
I'm like the Mr. Jack Dean for College Unfiltered.
You really are. Jack was our biggest fan, and you're his biggest fan for that. That's sick.
He spent about a 4-hour car ride commenting on every episode we've ever posted on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy.
He was bored, so he commented on over 200 episodes.
That's crazy. And fun fact, you are going to be in a class with me this fall. So I think
He knows my schedule better than I do, and I'm
Yes.
not going here.
I think it'd be great at some point for us to come back together and talk about what's going on with Lucas and I.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you both will have had me as
Maybe like
an
a
instructor.
midterm review.
Yeah, we should.
finals right around fall time.
We should.
Rekindle this episode. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, part
That'd be
two.
great.
We'll always invite the guests back, so yeah, we'll
Always.
definitely have to bring you back
anytime,
on.
Angelo. You're
Cool.
now a friend of you're now an official Jagoff.
I love it.
I was gonna say he's already been a friend of the show, so you can't really say that.
Yeah, I know. He's already been a friend of the show.
He's been helping create the show, so not create the show, but improve the show. So
It's all you guys.
Well, thank you again so much, Angelo, for coming on. Lucas, thank you for making the trip down to Point Park today for your
course.
first interview. Nice job. You did a really good job for your first
Excellent.
interview, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And thank you all so much for tuning into Two Jagoffs. Don't worry, we did not forget about you.
Never.
Make sure you stay tuned for our social media posts. We have ones every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And there's a brand new episode of Two Jagoffs this Thursday. So make sure you tune in for that. Until next time here on Two Jagoffs, we will see you all in the next one.
peace.